It's funny. We all live by the exact same 24-hour clock, and yet we all know that time doesn't feel the same for everyone, or even for ourselves from one day to the next. So today, we're going to dive into the science of how your mind can literally stretch, compress, and totally reshape your experience of time.
It's one of those big life mysteries, isn't it? That strange, almost elastic feeling of time. It's something we all experience, but it feels so incredibly personal. So why is it that the steady, reliable tick-tock of a clock feels so disconnected from what's going on inside our own heads?
I mean, you know the feeling, right? You blink and a whole workday is just gone. An entire weekend just vanishes in what feels like a single afternoon. Poof.
And then there are those other days. A meeting that feels like it's never going to end. Or waiting in line for something, and it feels like it's stretching on for an eternity. Same number of hours, completely different reality. This is where it gets really fascinating. That perfect vacation day, it just flies by in a flash. But a sudden scary moment, like a car swerving towards you, that seems to unfold in excruciating slow motion. The reason for all of this isn't magic. It's all happening right inside your brain.
So to really get our heads around this, we have to understand that there are basically two kinds of time. There's the time on your watch, and then there's the time inside your head. And let me tell you, they are not the same thing at all.
On one hand, you've got objective, clock time. It's constant, it's steady, it's measurable. It just ticks away second by second, and it really doesn't care what you're doing. But then you've got brain time, and that is a total construction, built from the ground up, moment by moment, and it completely depends on what you're experiencing.
So really, your sense of time is a story. It's a story your brain is telling itself to organize the absolute flood of information coming in from your senses. It's not measuring reality directly, it's interpreting it. And that story is shaped by three main things we're about to explore: your attention, your emotions, and your memories.
So how in the world does the brain do this? Well, it turns out it doesn't have a single little clock tucked away somewhere. Instead, it uses this incredible network of systems, things like neural oscillations, dopamine signals, your working memory, all firing together to create your own internal rhythm. And here's the key. When this network gets really busy, time feels slow. When it's kind of quiet, time feels like it's flying by.
Okay, so let's dig into that first big factor, attention. It turns out that where you point your mental spotlight has a massive impact on how you perceive time passing.
When you focus really intensely on something, your brain kicks into this high-resolution mode. It starts grabbing and processing way more information every single second. And all that extra data creates a denser experience, which your brain then interprets as a longer moment. This is exactly why being bored or waiting in line feels endless. Your brain is just hyper-aware of everything, counting every single second.
All right, next up, memory. And this one explains something I think we've all felt. Why did those childhood summers feel like they lasted forever? The answer is all about novelty and how our brains decide what's worth remembering.
I mean, just look at this timeline. As a kid, almost everything you do is new. Your first day of school, learning to ride a bike, seeing the ocean for the first time. Your brain is working overtime, recording all these incredibly detailed new memories. But as you get older, life tends to settle into a routine. And with fewer new, landmark experiences to mark the passage of time, the years start to feel like they're getting compressed. Think of it like a computer file. When the data is really repetitive, you can compress it into a much smaller file, right? Well, your brain does the exact same thing with routine days. Looking back, if nothing new or notable happened, your brain just kind of summarizes it as another Tuesday, and the whole day feels like it passed in an instant. Next up is maybe the most powerful time bender of all, emotion. Nothing messes with our internal clock quite like a strong feeling. This all happens because of a little part of your brain called the amygdala. It's like your brain's alarm system. And during a moment of intense fear, it kicks into overdrive. It starts recording a massive amount of sensory data, every sight, every sound, every feeling. The moment isn't actually slowing down. Your brain is just creating a much richer, more detailed memory of it. And that's what makes it feel stretched out when you look back. Of course, the exact opposite is also true. Have you ever been so completely absorbed in something, maybe playing music or a sport or a video game, that you totally lose track of time? That's called a flow state. Your sense of self just kind of fades away, your brain stops monitoring the clock, and suddenly hours can feel like minutes. And finally, let's talk about the biology of aging.
There's a real chemical reason why time seems to speed up as we get older. It's not just about routine, it's also about what's physically happening inside your brain.
It's a pretty clear chain of events, actually. As we get older, our brain's production of dopamine, a key brain chemical, naturally starts to decrease. And it turns out, dopamine is crucial for creating these little internal timestamps that mark passing moments. So less dopamine means fewer timestamps. And with fewer markers, our brain perceives time as moving by more and more quickly.
So, when you put this all together, what does it all mean? Well, it really comes down to this simple but pretty profound idea. The objective passage of time is unyielding. It's constant. But your mind is a dynamic, creative filter that is constantly rewriting, reshaping, and reinterpreting every single moment.
So here's the big takeaway. Time is not just something that happens to you. It's an experience you actively help create. Your brain stretches out moments of novelty and surprise, and it compresses periods of boring routine, which actually gives you some power, doesn't it? The real question isn't about getting more time. It's about how you choose to fill the time you have to make it feel richer and fuller.